Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC. We got a brand new vehicle on the channel. This is the Team Associated SR10M, and this is the ready-to-run version. So it's a 1/10 scale electric two-wheel drive dirt oval race car, and it is a follow-up to the SR10M kit, which was a build-it-yourself type of RC car, but this is the ready-to-run format. So we're going to take a look at this. Pretty exciting because I've never had a dirt oval car. I've never driven dirt oval, so we're going to definitely try this thing out and see how it drives, both on dirt as well as pavement. I think it could pretty much drive on both. Body, as you can see, is pretty much, you know, sort of a Monte Carlo style body. Really nice looking. The details, the, you know, I think the proportions, everything look really, really nice. And here's the buggy, or actually the car itself. The reason I say buggy is because it definitely traces its heritage or its roots back to the B5M. So I have a B5M race buggy here from, you know, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. Apologize for the electronics and stuff. But yeah, this has been around for a while. It was their first mid-motor car, and you can definitely see, you know, they, you know, the new one's inspired by that. So rather than an aluminum chassis, they went with a fiberglass G10 chassis. It has super nice carbon fiber rails down the side, very modern sort of mid-motor O-ring style battery straps there. The mid-motor transmission, of course, as you can see, it is actually 4 gears. So you got the diff, the 2 idler gears, and then the top shaft. So it has a motor over on this side. I think it keeps the motor rotation in line with the wheels. So, you know, a lot of buggies nowadays have the motor spinning backwards, but this is kind of like the original B5M, has the motor spinning forward, which should definitely help with you know, the cornering and stuff. You can see the tires are pretty meaty rear tires, very soft, nice, you know, sort of race compound tires. A little bit stiffer wheels up front, just a little bit skinnier there. Body mounts look super nice, a lot of adjustments. Got the little bumper, pretty beefy reinforcements here in the front. This looks very similar to the Team kit, so I don't think you lose too much by going to the ready-to-run version. It is pretty much kit-looking spec parts, carbon fiber little brace here, carbon fiber rear shock tower, all aluminum shocks as well with aluminum adjusters. Top caps are plastic, as you know, pretty much all the Team Associated stuff, but yeah, aluminum shocks is pretty nice. 12mm bore, heavy duty rear block here, it looks like, with adjustable pills as well. So super nice looking vehicle. And then one of the big changes is that they changed out the electronics. So radio wise, it's now the FlySky radio. So pretty interesting, pretty cool. The 2 ABS radio. I have not tried this radio before, so I'm interested to see how it actually runs. But it does have 4 channels, channel 3, channel 4 here, 4 double A's. Pretty firm, hard wheel, but yeah, rather than the normal radio electronics, they do have the FlySky radio, which I think is probably going to be an upgrade. I was not a big fan of the Team Associated radio, to be honest with you, and maybe they heard that and decided to change out their system. Servo is still the standard Metal Gear Reedy servo. You can see the FlySky receiver there, super short antenna, which is kind of nice, doesn't really dangle all over the place. And then you've got a Hobbywing branded ESC as well. So you know, this looks like the Quick Run 10BL60, just in a different styling, maybe a different cover, but it is Hobbywing branded, as you can see there, rather than the Reedy branded stuff. So still has the Reedy motor. I think it's 3300 kV if I remember correctly, 540 size can. Nice little wiring step down the side, so it tucks it out of the way. So yeah, electronics wise, it is quite different. Again, I think that's one of the most interesting aspects about this car. Then you've got some additional information here, a little FlySky manual, how to bind and stuff your radio receiver. A lot of little tuning parts. You can raise the differentials with these shims. You've got extra ball cups here. You've got the pills that, you know, you can adjust. For example, the toe end, which is something you'll definitely want to do to adjust, you know, how much those rear wheels point in. You want a little more rear traction, you can lock those in a little bit more, a little bit less. Not sure what this is. Some sort of adjustable mount, but yeah, different wheel hexes as well. So I think you could actually change the track width. The Team Associated manual is very nice as always. I'm a big fan of Team Associated manuals. They just explain how everything goes together. Have all the parts, numbers, and stuff in the manual itself, so you don't have to go looking through some giant diagram. A little bit of information, you know, but how to assemble it, little tricks and stuff like that. So yeah, very good manual. Setup sheets here in the back if you want to make adjustments and track that. And then a little bit of tuning tips as well, what the pills do, how to adjust any squat, toe angle, that kind of thing. Some tips and stuff. So very nice little setup here in the manual. So yeah, that's a quick look at the SR10M. Retails for $400 here in the US for the regular version, and then I think it's $469.99 for the ready to run with a lipo and charger. So yeah, next thing we gotta do is take it out and drive it. All right, we got a 2S Gens Ace Redline shorty pack in there, and so we're running this on 2S. Did make some minor adjustments to the electronics, so did turn down the dual rate by 5 steps. I loosened the slipper clutch a little bit. Also set the front toe to be just straight, like 0 degrees, just because it had a lot of toe out. Not sure I really wanted that, but yeah, we're gonna try this thing out on some pavement. Very dusty parking lot here. Definitely, ooh. Brakes are strong. Maybe you want to turn down the brakes a little bit. Requires some skill to drive on dusty pavement. Is like, all right, get a handle for this. Woo, a little jump. Alright, requires some. Almost feels like you don't ever really want to use the brakes and just kind of so scale looking. I gotta say, you know, this might be the year of stock racing. Oh, stock racing, or dirt oval. Okay, requires some. Two-wheel drive stock oval racing. I'm definitely not an on-road RC person, and I gotta say, on-road is much more about precision. I mean, this is dusty on-road, so I'm not sure what that is, but a normal on-road track would have way more traction, so. Quick. Ugh. Alright, let's try to do a little bit of a speed run here. Okay, I got a chance to drive this in a few different locations. I actually took it out on pavement where I think it's pretty much designed for like a high traction surface. Did try it on like a softball diamond and some other pavement areas and stuff, but really because it's a mid-motor vehicle, really because it is pretty much a race kit, I would say this is very much a race machine designed for racing, a ready-to-run version, but for sure out of the box, it is meant for high traction surface, for competing, high corner speeds, and that's where it's going to perform the best. So where I was driving was not really what it's intended for, but if you got like an indoor clay track, something that's blown, something that's watered or misted or something like that, or maybe an outdoor pavement track where they actually prep the surface, maybe spray some soda pop or something, some traction compound, that kind of thing, is where this is going to be driving the best. I don't think it's really like a general purpose like basher type vehicle. It is very scale and actually drives quite scale, so I'll talk a little bit about that. But yeah, out of the box, definitely it is a serious race machine and is meant for that type of environment. So the vehicle itself, it is a little bit tricky to drive for sure. Like I said, if it's on a loose surface, it is going to be tricky to drive because it is rear motor, rear wheel drive, but mid motor, and so not quite as much rear traction. They do have a SR10, which I think is a little bit more of a general purpose machine, will drive better on looser surfaces. So if you got something that is not quite race prepped, not quite a high traction surface, then you might want to look into that. But this is going to be something that competes. It's going to have more corner speed, better steering. I think it's going to actually put out faster laps, lower lap times if you have a high traction surface, because with that mid-motor transmission with a centrally mounted longitudinal battery, it's going to drive a lot better on a high traction surface, but I think it's going to drive worse on a low traction surface. So it is a serious race machine. It's got the G10 fiberglass chassis, it's got the carbon fiber side rails, carbon fiber rear shock tower. Definitely is designed for racing, so that was pretty interesting. Another thing I want to talk about was the actual electronics. So this FlySky radio, I think it does drive better than the XP120 that these RC cars used to come with. Motor, I couldn't really tell a difference. ESC is quite good. I think overall it is actually have a little bit better linearity, a little bit better response. Servo is not particularly fast, but for this type of vehicle, honestly, the thing I realized is that you want to try to set it up to be as easy to drive as possible, right? Stock car racing is not about super sharp corners, 180s, that kind of thing. You're really doing consistent, easy lap times where you want to be able to slowly get into the corner, do the turn, and then slowly accelerate out. It does drive probably pretty scale like a stock car race would actually drive, like a rear wheel drive Monte Carlo with the big heavy body on top of all that. I think it's actually kind of realistic, so that was kind of the cool thing. If you had a bunch of these with your friends and you were driving like on a pavement oval or something, that it is kind of NASCAR like. It's not meant for something that is an off-road buggy or even like a Formula 1 car or something like that. It is kind of a big, heavy, more gradual type turning type vehicle. So I think towards that purpose, it's quite good. It was pretty interesting to drive this type of vehicle. It has been a while since I drove a car with like this much kick up, this 4-gear transmission, this type of style of vehicle. Remind me of driving an RC buggy back in the day, like 7, 8, 9 years ago when the B5M was kind of reigned supreme. So it was kind of interesting to go back to that. But yeah, it is, a race kit. And so I think that's what Team Associated is trying to do. Put out something that someone that had a local track, whether it was a pavement type oval track or whether it was a dirt oval track, more like an indoor clay, high traction dirt oval track, that type of thing, they could just buy this, get to run. And I do think they made some improvements, and it's pretty cool to see that, even though they had reedy electronics and stuff in the past, they realized, some of this other stuff probably performs a little bit better at not really any more cost. So I think that's kind of the cool thing. And you do get the race quality type things. I think there are some minor differences. Probably the shock caps have the bleeder screws or something like that in the race kit version as opposed to the RTR. But overall, I think you can pick this up, go racing like the next day. You'll need a shorty pack, and I actually modified my battery connectors to use some 5mm plug-in style that you would typically find on a race pack, something like this, rather than like a Dean's connector or something like that on more of a basher style vehicle. But yeah, that are some modifications I made, and I definitely think this responds very well to tuning. Like I mentioned in the video, I did change the toe in, I did mess around with the slipper setting. I did change the electronic settings a little bit. I actually reduced the dual rate to get the car to just drive a little bit more easily all around. You know, setup windows on these mid-motor cars is very narrow. They do reward you by having actually more performance, more corner speed, lower lap times, but you have to get the tune-up setup window dialed within what is available to get the most out of this vehicle. And if you want something more easy to drive, I think the rear motor version is going to work better on like lower traction surfaces. But if you have a high traction surface, this is going to be actually faster in my opinion. So anyways, those are my quick thoughts on the Team Associated SR10M Ready-to-Run. I think it's a pretty cool vehicle. I think it's pretty interesting. It does get me to want to try dirt oval, you know, if I can find something that is high traction surface and not just, you know, an empty parking lot surface, you know, at my local high school or whatever. But yeah, pretty cool car. So anyways, I'll have links in the description below where you can find out more information and pick one of these up. But don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.